All the praise is due to Allah, Lord of all the systems of knowledge. We petition Allah to send down His best blessings upon the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and his family and the righteous, all of them, the righteous believers, all the way down to the present day. We thank Allah for sending down His book and His prophet and the righteous scholars and mujaddids. I greet you in peace. Assalamu alaikum. Well, we are here and we are healthy, and we thank Allah for that. We want to remind the community with this khutbah. I'm here as a reminder of what Prophet Muhammad has sent to us. If we follow it, we're going to be okay. If we have problems or if we are ignorant of what the Prophet has sent down, then that can be a problem for ourselves as well as our families. Basic information that is forgotten and not followed. It's not followed by the modern world. The Prophet Muhammad instructed us, if you hear of an outbreak of plague in a land, do not enter it. And if the plague breaks out in a place while you are in it, do not leave that place. Now I ask you, did we follow that on a global scale? Did we follow that? No, we did not. Are the health leaders conscious of what I just said from Prophet Muhammad? Some may be, and many of them may not. If we can't follow what the Prophet has sent down, we're going to be in a sad situation. And it should be the Muslims reminding the rest of the world of what they should be doing, or what we should be doing. No, the Prophet wasn't a doctor. He wasn't a doctor. No, the Prophet wasn't a health expert. But he gave information that probably all the health experts would agree with. Alhamdulillah. Pandemic, hygiene, quarantine, travel bans. We have to be patient and we have to trust Allah. The man came to the Prophet Muhammad and he said, I want to be the strongest among men. And the Prophet said, trust Allah and you will be the strongest among men. You see? Trust Allah and you will be the strongest among men. It seems so simple. Social distancing. What did the Prophet say? do not place a sick patient with a healthy person. This teaching was extended to animals as well. The cattle suffering from a disease should not be mixed with healthy cattle. That's Prophet Muhammad. Even on the animal level, the animal can infect the human. And probably vice versa. You know, when you go back and study, it's so simple. Umar once encouraged a leprous woman who was circling the Kaaba in Mecca to go back to her home, as it would be better for her and others. After Hazrat Umar's demise, a man told her that the one who forbade her had passed away, so she could go and circle the Kaaba as she pleased. She replied, I am not going to obey him when he is alive and disobey him when he has passed away. Indeed, this is a beautiful example that reflects the spiritual power and impact of the Holy Prophet and his rightly guided Khutbah. So Umar, having learned from the Prophet, told the woman to go home. She obeyed him. Then here comes another person telling the woman Omar had passed away. So you don't have to obey him now. Go on into the Kaaba. What's the point? It doesn't matter if when good information comes, it doesn't matter if the person is in the grave who said it or is still here. If it's the right information, we should follow it. You know, when the Prophet passed, people want to stop paying the zakat because the Prophet passed. Omar had to almost go to war. They refused to pay the zakat. Just because the Prophet passed, that don't mean the law has gone away or is going to change. You know? People have to think. The Prophet told us that cleanliness is half of the faith. We have to wash our hands frequently. The Holy Prophet also taught through his practice that the right and left hands should be used to handle pure and impure things respectively, further committing a high standard of cleanliness on a day-to-day basis. Now, some people say, well, they didn't have soap back then when the Prophet was here. They didn't have soap. So, it's okay to use both hands for whatever. No. Follow the practice. We should follow the practice. Furthermore, when he would sneeze, the Prophet would cover his face and muffle the sneeze, effectively containing the spread of airborne bacteria and viruses. Now, you know, I went to school. Now they teach the children to say, sneeze into your elbow. Or cover your face. That didn't happen when I was in school. People used to sneeze right in your face. In fact, if you go on Hajj, you have to be careful. You have people from other countries. Some people are well trained in hygiene and some are not. They will walk up to you and sneeze right in your face. 2 inches from your face, they'll sneeze. And they don't know any better. They don't know any better. In Al-Quran, we have to keep studying and reading the Quran. It calls us back to the basics. It calls us back to the basics. In Surah 103, it says, Wal Asr, by the time man is in loss. Wal Asr, and Al-Insanu Lafi Khusr, by the time the human being is in loss. Just like when somebody passed away, he's no longer here, so we'll move on to something else. He said do it that way when he was here, but since he's not here, we'll do it this way. That can hurt. That can hurt a lot of people. Medical treatment. Since the last time I was here at this mosque, I heard everything. It's a hoax. There's no virus. It's a hoax. False news. Fake news. We all have to look around ourselves. On my wife's side of the family, 5 people are gone. From the ages of 17 all the way through the 70s and 80s. We just have to use common sense and know how to take care of ourselves. Now let me say this. Taiwan, Vietnam. Sometimes the cultural practices of a country or community can save them from pandemics or viruses. The numbers are way, way down in Vietnam. The numbers are way, way down in Taiwan. The neti pot. Some of you know what it is, some of you may not. The neti pot. When they test you for the virus, they stick, looks like a Q-tip up your nose. In Vietnam, they use a neti pot in the morning and they use a neti pot in the evening before they go to bed. It's a container. You have salt water in the container. They go up a nostril and they blow it out. They go up another nostril and they blow it out. And they believe that they have a low count of deaths and infections because of blowing out the nostrils. That's how they wash. Okay? That's how they wash. But the virus can't get in because it goes up your nose, you see? Now, it can go in your eyes too. That's why they say when you watch, don't touch your eyes and so forth when you go out. Don't go into your mouth and that kind of thing, your nose and all that sort of thing. But there's a very low, I used to know the numbers. It's been so long, I've forgotten the numbers. But they had a ridiculously low death count in Vietnam and Taiwan. One Imam Yahya Abdullah, out of California, he was so touched by the low death count in Taiwan, he said somebody need to write a letter over there and find out what they're doing. I already knew what they were doing. But he said, we need to see what they're doing. That's how low their death count. They had like 6 people had died at that time. This was like a month ago. They had like 6 people had died out of millions of people in Taiwan. You see? Now you go to another culture, they may have another way of dealing with it. Now when this thing first hit, I gave out a sheet of paper. Didn't I do that? It said, what did it say? Herbs that kill viruses. I did that for the community. I went and researched. I did that for the community. Had about 20 herbs on that sheet of paper. Herbs that kill viruses. I passed it out here at the Masjid before we closed down. You see? So we have to look, we have to see what we can do for ourselves. We do that first. Then we give the doctor, let's see what the doctor's going to say. But I'm just giving this out for information. Go and do your own research. Go and see how many people have died in Vietnam or Taiwan, these Asian countries, and see what they're doing. Okay? Now, in some of them, a whole lot of people have died. Okay? And in some of those countries, hardly anybody has passed away from this virus. Okay, let's move on. Let's finish up. Okay. Now let's finish up with what the prophet said. Now there's a reason I cited what I cited. I cited chapter 103. Asr, the time. The prophet said this 1400 years ago. The scholars know. The scholars know what he said and what should have been done. Well, people get arrogant and they think modern medicine just got it all and don't need anything from the ancient times. And they make a mistake. If you don't shut it down, you get the whole world. Now you got a pandemic. Get the whole world infected. Let's finish up here. This is from Prophet Muhammad. I want you to know what he said. Seeking medical treatment. Al-Islam, as taught by the Holy Prophet, is a practical and progressive faith-based system. The Holy Prophet encouraged people to seek medical assistance alongside relying on the power of prayer. This is the prophet. He said, seek medical treatment, O slaves of Allah. For Allah does not create any disease except he has also created with it its cure. Except for old age. Right? And that's what it says here. I'm not putting that in. That's what it says here. Except for old age. All right? Every disease has a cure. And let me say this. That's a separation of our philosophy and the other philosophy. Okay? But they'll tell you in a heartbeat, there's no cure for that. Oh, there's no cure for that. There's no cure for cancer. Oh, there's no cure for it. That's not the Islamic belief. But if you don't know your religion, you'll be following what they have. You see? We don't believe that there's not a cure. Every disease has a cure. If a cure is applied to the disease, it is relieved by the permission of Allah, the Almighty. Okay? Free medical care and financial assistance during a pandemic are crucial in successfully controlling the spread of illness. The key word I just said is free. Don't you dare feel like you're lesser than anybody else if you get some medicine for free. Don't you dare feel lesser than anybody else. Free medical care and financial assistance during a pandemic are crucial in successfully controlling the spread of illness. If the citizens of a nation know that they will be provided for and cared for, they will be more likely to follow sanctions that could otherwise put them in financial distress. It's your money. Free medical care is a key. Now let me say this. They'll create language that'll make us feel like we shouldn't get free care. They call it socialism, right? They call it socialism. We don't want socialism. Free care. When a pandemic hits, you say, I'm using their language now, all bets are off. Okay? When it hits, that's worldwide. But everybody has to be responsible for yourself and your family. As we close, I just want you to know the thinking of Prophet Muhammad with these situations. Because we are bombarded. We are bombarded and bombarded and bombarded by the TV and the radio and the internet and whatever else they got. And then when it's time to run for office, they start telling on each other. Right? You say, yeah, he got more money from the drug people than anybody else. You see? You don't care about us. He getting donations from the drug industry. He gave them permission to go up on the price of the drug. They start telling on each other when they run for office because one trying to make the other one look worse. As we close, Alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alameen. Today, world leaders, all of them, they have two equally important responsibilities. Remember this now. All world leaders, they have two equally important responsibilities. Solving the COVID-19 crisis and improving the way we respond to outbreaks in the future. Without a doubt, the history of Al-Islam's battle against pandemics is indispensable and could very well guide our infection control systems now and in the future. Okay? We got the answer. Prophet Muhammad gave it to us. If they want to listen, they can listen. If they're too arrogant and proud, then that's on them. Because remember now, the first thing on their minds is some money. And if I can't travel to so-and-so, I can't make that money. So they might have the infection and go on over to another country and give it to everybody over there. Don't be a part of that. Alhamdulillah. Don't be a part of that. Doesn't seem like much, but I just gave you a lot. Go and research it. Find more information. Let us ask Allah for guidance. Allah gives guidance. With Allah's name, the merciful benefactor, the merciful redeemer. There is no God except Allah, and Muhammad is his messenger. O my Lord, of all the systems of knowledge, I ask you by every name that you have named yourself with, revealed in your books, taught any one of your creation, or kept unto yourself in the knowledge of the unseen that is with you, to make Al-Quran the spring of our hearts and the light of our chests, the banisher of our sadness and the reliever of our distress. Now most surely it is you who have created us, and you know what our innermost self whispers to us. For you are closer to us than our jugular vein. Surely we turn ourselves inward unto you, Allah, being upright, unto you who originated the universe. We are believers. Surely our prayer, our sacrifice, our lives, and our deaths are all for you, Allah, Lord of all the systems of knowledge. You beget not, nor were you begotten. You are strictly alone, and you need no associates nor helpers. You command this, and we are of those who submit. O Allah, you are the creator, the owner, Lord of the planet Earth, God of the universe. There is no God but you. You are our Lord, and we are your slave servants. We have been unjust to ourselves, and we confess our faults. So we beg forgiveness of you for all of our faults and protection against our faults. For none grants protection against faults but you. Guide us to the best of morals, for none guides to the best of morals but you. Turn away from us evil and indecent morals, for none turns away evil and decent morals but you. O Allah, we understand that when you love a people, you try that people, and the greater the trial, the greater the reward. Hence, we beg your blessing and victory over all of our trials in this life and the next life. Bless us to be big enough to forgive those who hurt us, and forgive us for hurting any of your creation, animate or inanimate. You say in Al-Quran, surely we shall try you until we know those of you who strive hard in the cause of Allah. O my Lord, make us one who strives hard in your cause and come the closer to you. O Allah, make Prophet Muhammad successful in the wilderness of North America as you did make Prophet Abraham and the true followers of Prophet Abraham successful, for surely you are praised and magnified. O Allah, bless Muhammad and bless the true followers of Prophet Muhammad here in the wilderness of North America as you did bless Prophet Abraham and the true followers of Prophet Abraham, for surely you are praised and magnified. Ameen. Ameen. Iqamatis Salat.
الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله حي الصلاة حي الفلاح قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah. You can just stay where you are, that's fine. Alhamdulillah. Allahu Akbar.
Allah.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahmanir Rahim. Maliki Yawmiddin. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر الله أكبر سمع له لمن حمده ربنا ولك الحمد الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد الله أكبر سمع الله لمن حمده ربنا ولك الحمد الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر Allahu Akbar. Assalamualaikum warahmatullah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullah.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullah.
Subhanallah. Alhamdulillah. Allahu Akbar. لا إله إلا الله محمد